Hi, I'm Sue Ann Cordell, and I thank you so much for joining me today on my podcast. Today, I want to talk to my future self and your future self. It's a brand new day. The things that happened to us in the past are in the past. We need to be focusing more on the future. So today, I just want to talk a little bit about that. Have you had anyone ask you this question, or have you heard other people say, think about this and ask yourself this question? If you could go back in time and give any advice to your younger self, what would that be? Well, I've had people ask me that question, and I've heard other people with that same question. But today, I want us to look at it in a little different way. Instead of thinking about what we would give advice on for our younger self, why don't we start thinking more about our future self? You know, we can't go back and change the past, no matter what. I understand what they're saying, and I understand why they think that would be a good idea, but we really can't go back and change anything from the past. So what we really want to focus on, or what I would suggest we focus on, is what we want for the future. Here are a few things to be reminded of on this new day. Since we can't go back in time, let's be grateful for the lessons that we've learned from days gone by and really just start focusing more on our future. Have you been with people that just talk about their glory days all the time? They talk about all the things that used to happen in the past, but they're never talking about what they really look forward to for the future. You know, I was working in a company in the last few years where I worked with someone who actually worked with me at another company. And ever so often he would come in and he'd say, I just remember when such and such would happen and we would have this and we would have that. And why don't we have this here? And I would say, we're not there anymore. We don't live there anymore. This is where we are now. And we need to focus on the here and now and the future, not on what the past was like. That's hard though, isn't it? You think about the past and you're thinking, oh, we had it so good in the past. Well, maybe we did have it good in the past. Maybe we didn't have it good in the past. But with all due respect, the past is the past. There's nothing we can do to change the past. But what do you think about the future? What are you working on right now to make your future even better than the good old days of the past? Or what are you doing right now to make the future even better than the bad days of the past? Well, I want to encourage you to make a list of the things you want to start working on that will help you get to the next place in the future. What are some of the things you want to work on to help you reach your goals? Now, what I want to encourage you to do is write those down, make a list, but don't just write them down and tuck them into a book or tuck them into a drawer. When you write them down, actually read them out loud. Put them in a place where you can see them every single day. And then why not make up a song about them? These are the things I want to see happen in the future. Make up a song that you can sing as you're driving to work, as you're walking outside, as you're working in the yard, whatever it is you're doing. Keep those things in mind all the time. And here's one of the things that's really hard for us when we're talking about the future and the goals and the dreams that we have. Sometimes we get afraid to tell anybody else about it. I want to challenge you today to not only write down your goals of what you want for the future, say them out loud every day, tell others about them also, and sing the song. But there's one more thing I want you to do. Every single day, you've got all those things fresh on your mind. Why not celebrate your progress? Even if it's just a baby step towards your goal, celebrate. Now, base every decision on what you want for your future. So you've got your list. Now, every decision you make moving forward should make you get closer or help you get closer to those future goals. Let's think about your mind. If you've been stuck in the past and you're now striving to be moving towards the future, what are some of the things you can do? We talked about the writing down the things that you want to do. What about journaling every day? Have you been doing that? Have you ever tried it? If not, I highly, highly recommend it. It really does help you with your mindset. So journal every day about some of the things that you want to be doing in the future, but also for the things you're grateful for that are happening right now in your life. You know, when you look around, life is really amazing. You see what you get what you see. So as you're looking around, if you're looking for problems, you're going to see them. You're going to find them. But if you're looking for positive things that you can be grateful for, you're going to find those too. So work on your mind. Don't get caught up in the past. Be focusing on the future and write down good things that are happening that are helping you get to that next place. Another thing that you need to work on is your body. Now let's think about this. Where are you wanting to be in the future? What are you working towards in the future? One of the things that you want to think about, I saw this just the other day on Instagram. This question was asked, and I thought, this is a very thought-provoking question. Will I be healthy enough and strong enough to help my grandchildren if they fall down? Will I be able to run over and help them and pick them up? What are your goals for the future for your body? Do you want to be strong? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be able to walk with your children, run with your children, run with your grandchildren? What are your goals there? And then the decisions that you're making for your soul. Every decision you make, whether it's a positive or a negative, also is going to affect your soul. So as you are basing your decisions on what you're going to do for that day, think about how this will affect your mind, how will it affect your body, and how will it affect your soul. They invite you to go out to eat at a restaurant that's all you can eat, and there's lots and lots of greasy food and lots of sweets, and you know that you love them, but your future self might need you not to eat quite as many things as you used to when you would go out. Because what happens is you don't feel so good later in the day, or you don't sleep so well that night because you overindulged. So every decision you make, base it on what your future self is going to be like. You won't get a whole lot of sleep either if you eat all that food, right? And you're not going to feel like getting up and working out either. So those are some of the things that you can do that will help you with that. Also, one of the things that I really try to do is learn from people of all ages. I'm a learner, and I want to be a lifetime learner, and I hope you will be too. When you're thinking about your future, that's one of the things that we need to be thinking about. Remember, our mind, our body, our soul, there's always something new that we can learn. And you can learn from all ages of people. You can learn from people older than you. You know what? I learn things from small children. I watch how they respond to things sometimes, and it's like, you know what? I just learned how to deal with a thing that has bothered me in the past from that small child. So don't underestimate learning from people of all different ages. Also, remember, nothing worth having comes easy. Oh my goodness. I went to the gym this morning, and I've got to tell you, I've been working out and working hard on a future plan that I have for my body. I want to be strong. I picture myself as my future self, being able to walk up steps, even when I'm in my 90s. Not having to have a cane, if at all possible. Not having a walker, if at all possible. But in order for me to do that, I have to really work hard now in the present time for my future self. This morning, I got ready to go to the gym, and I'm in the middle of a really hard workout right now. I got there. I sat in the car when I made it to the parking lot. I thought, you know what? I think I'm just going to sit here and check my emails. So I pulled my phone out and I was scrolling through, checking emails. And I thought, wonder what's happening on Facebook and Instagram right now. So I went over to Facebook and Instagram and I looked over there and I thought, is there anything else I can do before I get out of this car to go into the gym? Because I really don't want to do this today. And then it dawned on me. I'm inspiring people, or trying to inspire and encourage people to think about what their future self is going to be like. I have to do that too. And so I'm going to get out of this car and I'm going to go in and I'm going to do this workout. And you know what? Nothing worth having comes easy, but I do feel better now. I actually exceeded my goal and I'm so excited about that. But I could have easily said, you know what? I don't even feel like doing this today. I'm just going to go back home. So every decision you do have in your life, it needs to be based on what your future self is going to need. And I really do think that'll help you with your mind, your body, and your soul. Another thing that I would like to encourage you to do is look around and be grateful for things that you see. The sky is beautiful. Birds are singing. The flowers are blooming. It's summertime. Be grateful. Look for things to be grateful for. It's only going to help you. It really is. But when you start having your mind wander back to the past, try your very best to be grateful for things from the past. Don't get caught up in the anger or resentment or frustration of things that didn't go the way you had hoped they would. Instead, be grateful for the things that you learned from the past and take the things that you learned and apply them for the things in the future. Look around and find others who are going where you want to go and learn from them. You know, I mentioned that I was at the gym this morning, and one of my goals for my future self is I am trying my very best to make sure that I have a very strong skeletal muscle. My daughter, several years ago, we were in a yoga class together, and she said, Mom, you know, yoga's great for you, but don't neglect the weight room because you're going to need to have strong muscles as you get older. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But you know what? I learned something from her that was valuable. And she's right. I need to do that. So this morning, while I was at the gym, there's a woman there. I don't even know her name. But as I was getting a tour of this new gym that I'm going to, she was actually in the pickleball court playing pickleball. And they said, see that woman over there with the pink shirt? I said, yeah. They said, she's 94 years old, and she comes every day to either work out or play pickleball. That's impressive. That's the future self that I want to be. So this morning, again, I was having a little pity party in the car before getting out, and guess who I saw get out of her car? There was the 94-year-old woman. She wasn't going to play pickleball this time. She was going in to work out with weights, and she got up to the stairs, and this particular gym has 2 flights of stairs. They're not high stairs, but 2 small flights of stairs. She just bebops up the stairs, goes in, and goes over to the weight room. Look for people that are doing what you want to do when you grow up. But also understand that sometimes the people you're going to learn from and be inspired from are going to be younger than you too. Don't ever underestimate the value of learning from people of all ages. You know what? I love to spend time with young adults. I love to spend time with teenagers and just children in general. But one of the things that I have discovered in all of the years that I've worked in corporate America is young professionals are brilliant. Don't discredit them just because they just got into the workforce and they don't have a lot of experience. They are so smart, and you can learn so much from them. And you know what? They can learn from you too. So I'd like to say to the young professionals and the young adults, don't discredit the older men and women that have been in the workforce a long time. We can all learn from each other. Let's don't discredit each other because of our age. Let's value each other and learn from each other. Not only learn from each other, but we're all in this together. You may have some goals in your life right now for your future self that I've already been through. I can help you with that. You may be working on some things right now that I want to learn. There are some things that some value to what you're doing that I want to learn as well in the tech world. There are things that I want to learn in the sports world. I have had so many amazing yoga instructors and trainers in my life in the past that have been much, much younger than me, and I learned so much from them. And I'm hoping that in the process of that, I'm inspiring them to learn something from me. So we're all in this together. So I want to ask you again, what would you tell your future self? And what are you hearing from your future self these days? And what do you want your future self to look like? Now, we can't control everything, and we can do our very best to reach our goals, but we also have to know that some things are out of our control. I'm going to work really hard to be the strongest I can be because my goal, my future self is 100 years old. And if you've ever heard me speak, you've heard me say this many times. I want to live to be 100. Part of the reason for that is I love to throw parties, and I'm really good at it. I want to have a really fun-filled birthday party and invite all of my friends to come. And so what I tell people when I'm speaking at different events and we talk about this, I say this: you are invited to my party. Now, the only way that you're going to be able to be at my party is to make sure you take care of yourself so that you can be there when I turn 100, because I'm not going to be 100 anytime soon. So let's all work together to get ready for that party, because I promise you it will be such a fun one. A few years ago, I had a girl that's probably, or a young woman who is probably in her 20s, maybe her late 20s, and she had been at an event that I had spoken at, and she heard me say that. I said, I want to live to be 100. I want to be a healthy 100-year-old. If at all possible, I really want to be able to do this. So she was at an event that I was at, and she came over to me and she said, I am so excited because I'm working so hard. My goal is to be at your party when you turn 100. Now, that's going to be quite a ways away for me and for her, but it's what I picture for my future self. Do those things in your life. What do you see in your future? I was listening to a podcast recently of someone that I follow. His name is Ed Milet. And he was talking about some health problems that he was having. And his doctor asked him this question. He had a little girl that was like a baby at the time. And I believe her name is Bella. And the doctor said to him, so you have a daughter? He said, yes. Her name is Bella. He asked him how old she was, and he said, I believe he said, she's 2. He said, so do you want to be at her wedding? He said, well, of course I want to be at her wedding. He said, what if you're not able to be at her wedding because someone else is going to be walking her down the aisle because of your health? He said, what do you mean? He said, you've got some health problems that you need to take care of, and your lifestyle that you have right now is hurting that. Do you want to walk your daughter down the aisle on her wedding day? He said, yes, I want to walk her down the aisle on her wedding day. He said, even now, Bella is older. He hasn't walked her down the aisle yet, but she's getting older. He said, every day when I wake up, if I don't feel like going to the gym, if I don't feel like eating healthy, if I don't feel like doing the things that I need to do, I remember what that doctor said. If you don't change the way you're doing things right now, you won't be able to walk her down the aisle because you won't be here anymore. I want to challenge you today to think about what your future self is going to need. Okay, you don't feel like working out today? Do it anyway. You really want to eat that extra piece of pie, but you know it's not going to be good for you? Shove it to the side. What would your future self say to you that would help you and motivate you to make the changes that you need to make? Instead of saying, what would you tell your younger self? What about the future self? Those are the things I want to challenge you with today. Let's cheer each other on and be there for each other and help each other have the confidence to move forward and the clarity to shine. And any time that you start getting off track, think about your future self. What do you want your future self to be like? And as long as you can do whatever you can do to make it better, I want to challenge you to do that. Again, it's not all in our control, but the things that are in our control, let's just do it. Even the hard things, because it will really be worth it in the end. So today I want to ask you again, what would your future self tell you to do right now? Think about the things that you want for your future. Write them down. Say them out loud. Make up a song about it. Dance about it. Whatever you need to do to make it a happy thing. Tell others. Be brave enough to tell others. Celebrate your wins, because there truly is a great, bright future out there for you. Your past is the past. Today's a brand new day. Say, it's a brand new day. I'm excited about my future, and these are the things I'm going to do so that I can have an amazing future self. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again very soon.